Hey. Welcome back. Episode 26. I actually got it wrong on my thing. I almost said 25 again. Episode 26, Michigan Brews.
26.
26, half a year, I think, right? Getting close, whatever.
Yeah.
Missing Brian tonight. Hopefully he's going to join us. He had some life things come up, so he's going to hopefully pop in soon. So tonight we're talking AHA, American Homebrewers Association. I reached out and randomly found some that we found had some AHA members, 2 governing members in Michigan. So we're going to bring those ladies in and start talking to AHA, figure out what the AHA is, what our governing members do for us, and the benefits and things like that. So let's get them in. We have Amy Martin from Frankfurt, and we have Gail Milburn from Dearborn. Now, as I said before the show, I'm not really sure what a governing member is, but I looked up in the AHA and found Michigan has 2 governing members living in Michigan. And so I reached out and pinged you guys, and thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us tonight. So let's do some intros first and get into Gail, if you can tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
I've been a home brewer for almost 20 years now. Basically like IPAs and British beers and sours. Let's see, I'm a BJCP Grandmaster Judge, been judging since 2004. I was a pro brewer for a little while. Just a lot of beery things.
Nice. And then Amy, how about you?
So I've been homebrewing, I think, for 9 years. I currently am employed by Stormcloud Brewing Company here in Frankfurt, Michigan. I am their marketing assistant as well as their membership coordinator. I'm also a freelance beer writer. I most recently had 4 homebrew columns published by Boulder Weekly out in Boulder, Colorado. And awesome. I write a beer education blog on the side. So yeah, also a lot of beery things, I would say.
That's awesome.
That is super cool. What magazine did you say you wrote for?
It was Boulder Weekly.
Boulder Weekly? Okay.
Yep.
I've got a friend, he's a sometime viewer, he might even be watching tonight. He writes more beer can review, brewery collectible stuff. So I got a couple of his magazines or articles that he's written. That's neat.
Nice.
So why I guess just to jump into that a little bit, why Boulder Weekly? Are you from Colorado or?
I am not. No, I'm a Michigander through and through.
All right.
I saw that Dr. J, I don't know if you're familiar with her through the BA, but she posted something about looking for a homebrew columnist, and I messaged her and she connected me with the editor there, and it just all kind of fell together. It was pretty random, but it was a really awesome opportunity to be able to interview hop growers and brewers and things outside of my general region, to just learn more about the brew scene out in Colorado.
That's awesome. I mean, really, it's a lot of the same reasons why we started this or how we started this. It was really just a fluke, and it happened. And now we're getting to talk to brewers and yeast owners and people like yourselves, and it's been really cool to get to meet people and talk to people. But we focused more on Michigan, and now I'm thinking about what happens if we ever want to go outside of Michigan. And so we might wind up doing some not Michigan Brews episodes.
Big stamp on the logo.
Right.
Yeah.
Put a big red cross through it. Not Michigan Brews. But no, so that's awesome. So what do you guys do? What does being a governing member of the AHA involve?
Well, Amy and I both were just elected for this last year, so we haven't served yet a whole year. So we're still learning a lot. But basically, our job is to kind of take things in from the AHA and bring things from the membership to the AHA. So it's we kind of do a two-way street. We don't have any kind of oversight with the American Homebrewers Association. We're just there as an advisory group. And each of us, there's, I think, 12 of us right now. And each of us brings something different to the table. So there's a lot of good conversation that happens, but a lot of the things that are happening, especially now with COVID and budgetary constraints, are really out of our hands. And we're just trying to figure out what we can do to keep the AHA going and moving forward. Amy, I'm sure you've got a lot of other things to say about that.
Yeah, well, I guess the fact that we were elected pretty much right when COVID started has really, I think, shaken up what we would normally be doing. Pretty early on in serving, we would have gone to HomebrewCon and had at least a day's worth of meetings. I can't remember if it's longer than that, but we would have, really been initiated more. And I think been able to connect with people. Not that we aren't connected. It's been interesting and kind of fun connecting with people via Zoom. But I still feel slightly out of my element just because we haven't all had a group meeting in person together.
Yeah,
but,
I can understand that.
I think what Gail said is exactly what we do. We're kind of a bridge between the membership and the staff of the AHA. And I do feel like the staff is really open and really ready to listen to what the members have to say. And that makes our job pretty wonderful.
So in the past, I guess before you got involved in the AHA and you're looking at this going, I want to be more involved. What kind of things, what type of things do you think were you looking at that could have been brought or are being brought from the governing committee to the AHA?
Gail, do you want to go?
I'm going to have to think about that one. Amy?
Okay.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I guess part of why I ran is because I felt like my experience with marketing and writing and in the industry gives a slightly different perspective. And I felt like I could aid with some of those things where maybe the AHA was lacking a little bit with communication between members, and just continue to really help with the magazine Zymergy. I think it's a phenomenal magazine, and I just love to support it any way I can.
It is. I do. I think it's one of the only publications I get in paper still, just because I don't know. I just like touching that one and holding it and having a stack of Zymergy on the table. So
totally.
I think I've had a lot of contact with clubs around Michigan, and my club is Motor City Mashers out of Taylor area.
Right on.
And part of what we do is we have a Michigan consortium that goes to the Michigan Homebrew conferences, and we serve at club night and whatever. So it's given me an opportunity to get to know a lot of different homebrewers from around the state. And then we have a couple of Southeast Michigan competitions that are, inter-club competitions. And then I'm also the head of the Michigan Mead Cup. So that gives me a lot of opportunity to get involved with mead people. And I've been a judge at Glitcap, which is the cider competition out in the west side. So there's just a lot of overlap between, what cider people and mead people and beer people are trying to do, and trying to bring that to the AHA so that it's not just a beer-focused organization, but it deals with, a variety of different fermentables that they're really getting into now.
That is good to hear. And I will give a shout out to Motor City Mashers. I missed hanging out with them this year. So we got, the three of us usually go to Homebrew Fest. And Motor City Mashers always put on a good party. Great beers.
Homebrew Fest that's a blast.
I'm actually, so have you been the last few years, or?
I haven't been the last 2 years.
Okay. I've been going for 5 or 6, and I feel like Motor City is one of the places I hang out the most. So I'm surprised But again, there's a lot of beer to be had, and memories get fuzzy. And, we probably run into each other then at some point.
I'm sure.
I missed actually. Brian's not here, so I'm off my game. Usually, before we get started, we always talk about what's in the glass, and you just drank your cranberry vodka, and you reminded me. So, we usually talk about what beer we're drinking, if it's homebrew, what it is, what it's about. So, Amy, since you got some homebrew, what are you drinking?
So I'm not actually drinking a homebrew today.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, look at that.
Oh, I'm
Man.
sorry. I'm drinking a Wild Away from Storm Cloud.
It's work, though.
Hey,
Work.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's my employer. It's my general go-to beer. I can get it quite easily, and it's kind of just my chill out beer. So Belgian IPA, just what my palate wants.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
We had a
I
homebrew
did have a
episode.
homebrew earlier today. If that counts.
No, we had a homebrew episode one night, and I cracked the hams. So, yeah, shit happens. And then we know Gail's got the vodka and cranberry.
I'd rather be drinking Celebration.
It can't be beer all the time, though. What are you drinking, Jordan? Oh, you got your seltzer.
Yep, seltzer, homemade. It's blackberry. Came in about 4.5% or so. So it's a little light. It's nice, crisp. Got a good, it's good flavor. Loran flavorings for the seltzer seem to work amazingly.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how much I'm seeing the Loran oils being used now as a beer flavoring. Have either of you guys ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Used it.
Yeah, there's a pro brewer I know that caught me onto it, and then I started playing with it, and then next thing you know, I didn't really tell anybody. We didn't really talk about it, but it's just next thing you know, everybody it seems like I'm running into is like using Loran oils. So super, super potent. I know in a homebrew scale, I think in a keg I use like, what is it, Jordan, half a dram or 7 drops.
Yeah,
and
I
it's still
usually
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's half a dram for 5 gallons of seltzer. So, and it's,
Yeah.
So I didn't shake it up as much as I should have. The first, 5 or 6 pints were a little potent, but now it's leveled off. So,
so I got a black IPA that I brewed a while back for some competitions that never happened. That was one thing. You guys are AHA, so National Homebrew didn't happen this year. Most homebrew competitions didn't happen this year.
wow.
Do you guys have any insight into National Homebrew for next year, or any other comps? You're nodding, Gail. What do you got?
We do. Actually, the AHA just put out a notice, I think it was this last weekend, what's going to happen with NHC this year. It's going to be quite a different format. But they're going to go to a one day instead of 2 different rounds. They'll go to just one round, multi-day, so it'll be maybe a week long. Judging that will be kind of GABF style judging, and will be done probably using COVID protocols because it's going to be in May, and it'll be probably in Boulder at the Brewers Association warehouse, and all the judging will happen there. So they'll import whatever judges they need, or volunteers, and then the locals, and it will be a different fee format. It's going to be $29 per entry this time, but they're looking at upwards of 5,000 entries.
Wow. So they're still keeping that number up there. That's crazy.
Definitely.
So it's single round format is what you said?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they've done it. I haven't judged at GABF, but essentially, as I understand it, it's just going to be, the top 1, 2, 3 probably of a judge panel will go on to the next panel, but it'll all be done within this 1 week or so period of time.
Still 4 bottles, or are they going to up the entries?
Amy, do you remember?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember hearing.
Because I think in the past, wasn't it 2 bottles for first round and 4 bottles for final table, or something like that, or 3 bottles?
3, I believe.
3.
Yeah, so I don't really know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's been announced. It is on the information that we know is also on the AHA website. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We will put a link to that in the show comments after the show. We'll get a link up to the AHA and that specifically. I know a lot of people that watch our show and a lot of people in our club are big in the competition circuit, and that was a big blow. I mean, it was cool. You know, our stuff got made in a hand sanitizer. It was for a good cause. That's fine. It was just a bum. I mean, yeah.
I was down in Indianapolis getting ready to set up for that next morning, and it got called off at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And, you know, we were supposed to be getting up to get going in a few hours really after that. And
Wow.
nobody felt comfortable going forward.
Yeah, that was a crazy time, and still is. I can't imagine doing 5,000 beers though, and even in 1 week, that's going to be crazy. Bringing it all into one location, that's just seems nuts. But I just organized my first club competition, like BJCP style club competition. I only had to manage 20 entries, and holy shit, it's a pain in the ass. So I couldn't imagine 5,000 from all over the country. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just recently Stormcloud hosted a homebrew competition, and it was like 22 entries or so, and that felt quite crazy, at least for the time being.
Yeah. So with ours, what we just did is I found 4 BJCP judges, but because of COVID, I actually there was no in-person judging. It was dropped off at their homes. They judged individually. That really sucked because I know judges like to talk and compare, and because of that, there was some vast differences in scores that I don't think we normally would have seen. But we're doing the best we can to work through it, just to get something out for the club. But that's cool. I did see the Stormcloud one. Didn't get a chance to enter it. Right? Next year. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to submitting beers next year for competitions.
For everything.
Yeah, exactly. I guess, a little silver lining for me is I haven't brewed as much this year as I normally do anyways. But we were talking, you guys haven't been in your seats for very long. How long can you generally hold the seat on your committee or on your board?
9 years. Three-year terms.
And this is the first for both of you.
Yes, so it's the first of our 3-year term. And then, we could do 2 more.
We'll see.
That's right.
So who votes for you? Or how does that work? Or where do you guys campaign?
So all people that vote are eligible members of the AHA. If you've paid your dues and you're part of it, then you have the right to vote for the people that represent you. The campaign trail looks like we submit a headshot, we submit a bio about us and why we believe that we could be beneficial on the governing committee, and you're allowed to campaign on social media or however you want, but more or less that's it. People get to know you either through that. And I think this year they did something a little different on the forums. They set up a forum where club members could ask specific questions of the candidates, and that was nice to kind of be able to know what people want to know about us and then be able to genuinely share about ourselves.
So committee members, we can't endorse anybody.
No.
So we do know some people that are entering for the next round of elections, but all we can do is lend our support to every candidate and encourage really every member to vote. Kind of like American elections often are, there aren't that many people that vote. It's a small percentage, and you can really sway an election if you get a few people behind you.
Right on.
Yeah,
Really?
it can be difficult to engage people to get them to play in. Pardon me. But yeah, so what does the AHA do for its members? Like, what's your purpose? What's going on?
I think the biggest thing is to promote home brewing of all beverages, whether it's beer, mead, cider, now seltzer. They don't take a stand on distilled beverages that I know of, just because it's not legal. But really just promoting the hobby, promoting people to be as good at it as they possibly can, to get better if they choose to, for feedback, giving them resources and ideas and recipes. Also advocating legislatively for states to open up their home brewing rules and rules around shipping homebrew, having competitions, moving homebrew from one home to another, things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, is anybody going to get a law passed that makes this stuff legal to mail?
They have been trying for, I think, as long as I've been a member.
Someday.
Yeah, getting tired of mailing snow globes to Indianapolis.
Samples.
Yeah, yeast samples, homebrewed soda. Yeah. When I first started as a homebrewer, I was naive, and I thought I was just doing the right thing and being completely honest with UPS, and I got turned away so many times, and I'm like, how does this stuff happen? Like, and then I think somebody finally told me, yeah, yeast samples. You're mailing yeast samples, so. Now my face is going to be on the UPS store wall. Right?
Yeah, so watch out.
Do not ship to this guy.
Yeah, we had one of the major shippers dump a whole bunch of Michigan Mead Cup entries one time, and I think they did for one of the competitions in Colorado too. I think was it second round, Amy? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
It was Mazer Cup, but one of the major shippers was dumping everything that came to this particular address.
Yeah, the location itself was the giveaway.
I heard last year NHC did they have an issue with FedEx on the East Coast? There was something I heard that before, like FedEx was holding a lot of entries hostage because they found out about it, and I think the AHA had intervened. And
I won't name the shipper, but it's
okay. Oh man. Yeah, it's so hard. I understand why. It's just there's competitions all over the country, and there's so much of this stuff happening. I just wish they would acknowledge it and let us and come up with a safe way for us to do it. If they're concerned about the shipping of alcohol, then I'll pay the extra money to do like a required 21-year-old receiver or something. But I don't know. It's just me.
You're absolutely there. There has to be a solution.
Right.
I haven't found it yet, I guess.
I was told once by one of the shippers that they couldn't guarantee that the receiving party had to have a liquor license. And I'm like, well, in this case, they do. I mean, I was shipping it to a brewery, and I'm like, and it was, I forget the name, Acme Brewing Company. I'm like, it's got a liquor license. And they're like, well, we don't know that. I'm like, what can we do? Oh, anyway. So that's cool to hear that NHC is gonna hopefully be going on this year. Do you know if Gail, you said that you judged Mead Cup and stuff. Are you still planning on doing that this year as well, or?
Yeah, for 2021, we had to cancel 2020, but we have a date for October of 2021, and right now it's a go. We're gonna try to do it. There's been some others recently that have been able to be handled safely. We just weren't sure with our current judge pool that we'd be able to get enough good judges
Right.
because of situation out of our control. We're planning on it.
Cool. And Glint Cap did happen, right?
Glint Cap did not happen this year.
Did not? Okay. I thought it did. Was it Mazer Cup?
Mazer Cup happened. Yes, Mazer Cup happened. Just fairly recently.
Okay, that's what it was. I know normally we have a guy in our club that watches quite a bit, and he's actually just entering the world of pro brewing and opening his own brewery. But he was the mead guy before, and every time we would talk competition, he would always bring up Mazer Cup, and I'm surprised he's not there. So we got a question. Do you know if they're have any plans to actually host the conference itself?
Go ahead, Ernie.
I was going to say, as of right now, I think you kind of, just like also CBC Craft Brewers Conference, we're planning on it happening until it doesn't. And I think we're hoping it can be in person, but if that's not safe or in the best interest of everybody there, then it will be virtual. And I don't know if either of you participated in the virtual conference this year, but I thought it was pretty phenomenal. I think we got a lot of positive feedback about the fact that people didn't have to pay to travel and pay to be I guess mostly travel and staying places, but I think people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I got to do a couple of sessions with or live streams that John was doing, but I don't think they were specifically related to the conference. And that was John Moorhead. I think he did a talk about judging in the future COVID. And then I think he did a beer tasting seminar with another gentleman. But yeah, I didn't get to watch any of the actual virtual conference shows. The next year was supposed to be San Diego, right?
Yes.
Yes, it
Both
is.
CBC and HomebrewCon. I just really want to go to both.
Yeah, I want to go back. I work in Southern California and I haven't been in 9 months, so I was looking forward to that one because I can actually make that a work trip.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I know, Gail, do you think that was my response was correct or accurate?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not making things.
It'll happen either virtually or in person. I think they're just waiting to see what the situation is as we get closer, just like everything else. But I thought that the virtual HomebrewCon was pretty cool this year. I had a good time. I missed talking to everybody, but it was pretty good. And that's another benefit of being an AHA member is not only do you get to go to HomebrewCon, whether it's either in person or virtual, but you also get access to the seminars afterward. So even if you weren't able to, split yourself into 2 or 3 people at a particular time, or you couldn't make it to the 9 a.m. session because you had a little bit too much the night before, at least you can still, partake in the knowledge that's being shared in the seminars. And the seminars they're fantastic. The people and the knowledge there is just amazing. You can geek out on anything from, enzymes and pH to malt selection and anything pretty much that you can imagine. And it's just a really great time. And if HomebrewCon does happen in person, it is the biggest party that you can imagine, with about 3,000 of your closest friends, because you become friends with everybody there. It's a great time.
That's the homebrew community,
Exactly.
It's just so welcoming, and that's what it is, a party.
Yep, that reminds me of Beer Fest. That's
Yeah.
that's why that's
What we
actually
call Beer Fest.
or homebrew festival, Michigan Homebrew
Michigan
Festival.
Homebrew Festival. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are those seminars like still available for people to watch from? Awesome.
They are. Yeah,
Where would they go to find those?
quite a few years back they have them. And I don't know if you had to be a member at that time or if
I don't think so. I think that you can access past
any,
previous seminars. And we did just recently do a thing where now you don't have to sign up for an annual membership. You can do a month by month. So if you just want to check it out, give it a whirl, I think 1 month is like $3.99 or something. I don't know. I think that number's close to being right. But just to check it out and see the different features that you can experience being an actual member. We do have a lot of free resources, even if you're not a member, but I think to really dig in and dig deep, you want to be a member. There's so many benefits.
I will say, as a home, most of our club are I believe most, and David can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe most of our members are now also AHA members, and in COVID, they've greatly helped us. We did. I had to put together a beer trivia thing for the club once, and oh my God, AHA has a massive amount of beer trivia questions and answers and just crazy stuff out there. And then of course we had the AHA. We had a lady, I can't remember her name right now. She was from, I think, Seattle, came on and did a sensory tasting with us. That was through the AHA, and
Annie?
Annie, that does sound.
Jill or Shauna? No, Shauna's first.
I think it was Annie.
Annie's a who?
Yeah, she.
David set it up. He's watching. He can tell me if he remembers. But yeah, she was super cool. Whoever it was, we got to taste different items, even virtually, and try different beers. And he just posted the link. Thank you, David. So past presentations. Yep. He's on it for us. David's the president of our local homebrew club, Keepers of Craft.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, no, it was super cool with what the AHA does for us. And then what are some of the other benefits that we get? Discounts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, David says it was Shauna.
Oh.
Shauna Cornier.
Okay.
Thanks.
We also have Shauna.
Yeah, she was. It was fun. It was. I think we did that in August, September. After we hadn't seen each other for a long time, so it was still fun. I think we had like 18 or 20 people on the meeting. It was neat. Tried beer, ate chocolate, coffee, and citrus.
Sounds almost perfect.
I was going to say that sounds excellent.
Right on.
So you were asking about other benefits, discounts. Yeah. A lot of breweries have discounts, either beer discounts, merchandise, depending upon the state laws. There's an app that you can get called Brew Guru, and it'll let you know if you're in the area of a brewery that's part of the Brewers Association. There's, for clubs, you can get homebrew insurance through the AHA, which is something that Crispy Fry, another Michigan former GC member, he fought for a long time to try to get that going, and finally did. Gosh, there are a ton of recipes, a ton of resources, a lot of beer history, a lot of mead history, a lot of Ken Schramm's stuff is up there. It's pretty amazing how much of a resource the American Homebrewers Association is once you really dig into it.
Right on.
What other benefits?
I was just going to follow up with the beer history stuff. I write for our members at Stormcloud monthly beer history piece, and I quote so much from the AHA. It is a wealth of knowledge. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've dug into the website before, like I said, to find ideas, find topics, and the recipes. just to compare recipes. I like to go out there and see what other people are doing with, pale ales or stouts, what type of things they're putting in and things like that. And it's good to be able to browse a bunch of recipes.
Absolutely. I use that resource frequently.
Yeah.
There's Homebrew Day in May, Learn to Homebrew Day.
Homebrew Day, right?
Mead Day in August. So there's a lot of opportunities for camaraderie and teaching others and learning more about homebrew. I know our club goes to Adventures in Homebrewing in Taylor or in Ann Arbor to have a group brew and eat and drink and share a lot of information on those days. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Big brew days are always an amazing experience for me, just to see how everybody else brews. Like, you get into your habits, you're doing your thing, but to see why people do something differently and then be able to talk to them about it. It's the same thing like going to Homebrew Fest, and what you guys said about Homebrew Con. I can't imagine like going to Homebrew Fest, being able to talk to 300 brewers that are all eager to share their knowledge and their information, their recipes, to scale that up to that huge. I think it would be super amazing. I'm going to try to make it one of these days. Yeah. Let's see.
You mentioned at the beginning that we're, Amy and I are currently 2 members on the governing committee from Michigan, but Michigan's got a long history of representation on the GC. Ann Arbor Brewers Guild, they have put forward so many people on the governing committee over the years, from Jeff Graham and Jeff Renner and Jeff Rankert. I know I'm missing probably, a dozen people, but it seems like Michigan has always been represented on the governing committee, at least as long as I've known that the governing committee has existed.
I didn't know about that about Rankert. He actually just, the competition I just mentioned, Jeff was one of my judges. Did a great job. So Jeff, if you're watching, thank you again so much. I literally dropped a case of beer on his front step, and we never got to meet because of COVID. I talked to his wife for a brief second from like 10 feet away. But yeah, super cool. Appreciate all that he did. I actually talked to Jeff and Adam Hansen. God damn it. I'm going to mess this up and piss him off. Let me look it up real quick. They were my judges. Alexander Hansen and Jeff judged for me. And I'm hoping that we can do an episode in the future with them to talk about BJCP and kind of what pain I put them through judging this recent competition. And then you keep mentioning Ken Schramm and the mead. So if we are yet to do a mead episode, right, Jordan?
Yeah, no, we haven't yet.
No.
There's an idea.
I need to connect with Ken.
Something in the future.
I know. And you run the Mead Cup, Gail, so we may be back in touch.
We have huge mead resources in Michigan. It is amazing.
Yeah. No, it's been something that have you started getting into it, Jordan?
What's that, meads?
The meads, yeah.
Yeah, I got one in a carboy right now.
Hey.
Yeah. I did one last year. We were trying to get into meads for the Michigan Beer Cup this year, so I was trying to crank through some and womp. Now I got mead, so can't be too upset.
That's right.
So we've already had KGB on, and we've already done all of our trash talking, and we've had Nikki D on from the Michigan Beer Cup, and Nikki and I have done all kinds of trash talking. So Keepers of Craft last year, we did not win the Michigan Beer Cup because we lost to mead. If the Michigan Beer Cup was just rated on beer, we would have won. But because of the mead that KGB put forth, they kicked our ass. And so We went back to the club, me and Jordan and David and some of the other guys at the festival, and said, all right, everybody, get your head out of your ass and start making some mead. Like, if this is where we've got to compete, God damn it, this is where we're going to compete. So I think we all have meads going in anticipation of that. But thankfully, I think they'll all still be good for next year.
Oh, absolutely. The wonderful thing about mead is it ages well.
Because we are coming for the Michigan Beer Cup.
Come for the Michigan Mead Cup too.
I would love to. So I've only done one that I'll take credit for, and it was just it was 9 points, David, not 10 points. Yeah, less than 10 points. I just did a no water added blueberry mead. Who the other guy that's supposed to be here that I was hoping would jump in, Brian. He's out of the three of us, I think he's the big mead guy.
Yep.
And so taking his direction, and I think he follows a lot of similar style as Ken Schramm, like the dessert meads and stuff like that. But we were just tasting my mead last week, and he told me I should put it in something. So I got to figure out what category it fits into, and we'll get it in Michigan Mead Cup next year.
Do it.
So you said October?
Yep.
Nice.
September, the registration will be in September. Don't have an exact date yet, but if you like it on Facebook, the Michigan Mead Cup, that's where I post all of the updates. And what we've been experiencing is that registration has been full within 8 hours. So,
Wow. How many entries do you accept?
we did 150 last year. We're going to do, I think, 165 this year. And so we'll probably try to do a little bit more. It just depends on our judging pool.
There was a homebrew competition that opened up a few weeks ago in Texas that was open to national entries. And I posted that on Keepers. And I said, hey, guys, here's the competition that's going to happen. And I think it's like 2 or 3 hours later, it was sold out. So, yeah, people are so into it right now. I mean, we miss it.
Yeah.
No competitions this past year.
There's so many few opportunities now.
I know.
Yep.
And I couldn't get up so with the Storm Cloud one, do you accept mail entries?
We do. We didn't know we did until this year because no one has ever asked. But yes, we do. And we had some kind of from the whole Midwest. I feel like the winner was from Ohio. I might be confused, but I know we had high-ranking Ohio and Indiana beers.
Nice.
But plenty of delicious Michigan beers, darn it.
All right, right on. Well, I want to open up. We have a few people watching. If anybody's got any questions about the AHA or for Amy or Gail, feel free to drop them in the comments. Other than that, I need to get me another beer real quick. So if you mind me, I'm gonna roll over here.
Yep.
It's nice thing about having a beer.
So I guess to get to know you guys a little bit more, why don't you go off and tell us like what your preferences are, what you like to brew, if you brew. Yeah. What's your favorite beer? What's your go-to?
Like our go-to to brew or our go-to? I assume
Sure.
you can brew, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My personal favorite is a Midwest or a Western IPA. I just love things that are hoppy, and that's what first got me into beer. I prefer things on the drier side, and I'm okay with the solid malt backbone, and that's what I like to drink, so it's what I like to brew.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I prefer a little bit more of the West Coast myself.
Yeah. Yeah, Gail, what do you like?
My Desert Island beer is a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Hell yeah, girl.
But to brew most of pale ales, IPAs, and a lot of British beers. I really like British milds, and I've been working on a couple of recipes for British milds that I have it dialed in as close as I think I can get it without actually, getting fresh ingredients from London.
Yeah, totally.
What's your go-to yeast on the British?
I like 002.
002? Nice. Right on. I started this year, I was going to brew a British mild because it's a really underrepresented category. And I was trying to dial one in. And I really enjoyed the one that I brewed. But I think I used London Ale. So I need to check out 002.
I like to be able to drink more than one.
Right.
So, if I can make a good beer that comes in at 4.2%, I'm going to have a number of them, and I'm still going to be able to put a sentence together.
Yep. Yeah.
Unlike if I have a couple of two-hearteds, I'm probably not going to put many sentences together.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I said, drinking seltzer, which was under 5%. The more I brew, the more I appreciate those delicate, well balanced beers.
Truly, if it's sessionable and complex, that's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. You say that about the seltzers. No, they're easy to drink and they're light and they're not filling. But I think the worst episode that we had was a seltzer episode.
Define words. Wait, I need to know what that means.
It was just I think we lined up like 8 seltzers and they go down so easy and they're like, oh, it's only 4.5%, 5%, which you just pound through them and, we're giving our feedback and we're talking about different flavors and the body and clarity and all. The next thing you know, it's a rough night.
Yeah.
Pounding 8 seltzers in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, I totally agree. I think when I started homebrewing, I started brewing all these 7-8%. It was everything was big and bold, and now I'm finding myself going back and cutting that grain bill a little bit and trying to get it down in that 4.5, 5 range. So I can have a couple, especially now I have a kegerator. I finally upgraded my game, and having it on tap is dangerous. So everything can't be 7%. So with your positions, do you guys engage much around Michigan, or how do people in the Michigan area, I guess, get in contact with you? You said you guys kind of are the voice or the pass things on. What's a good way for people to get in touch with you on that?
We lost someone, but
Jordan, he'll be right back.
Okay. So for me, where I currently live, I miss living in Grand Rapids for the accessibility, but where I currently live, it's actually quite hard to connect with people in the homebrew community. I'll go up to Traverse City. We have Brew up there. But honestly, the best way is to email me. I get a lot of national homebrewers that contact me through my Instagram, which is polka dots _ pints. Yeah. And that's truly who talks with me the most, are just people that find me on Instagram and chat with me. If you are from Michigan, like probably most of the viewers are, please feel free to email me, amy@stormcloudbrewing.com. I am all ears and I'm very open to hear. Gail, go for it.
I actually have a really old AOL account because I'm old. And it's milburng@AOL.com. Anybody can email me there. It's also on our emails, I believe, are also on the governing committee website, and mine's also on the BJCP website. I'm the assistant exam director, so.
Okay. And we'll get that stuff posted in comments for people that catch the show later. They can check that out. And then, if you want to get in contact with them, we'll have their contact information up on our show site. It looks like David threw in a last-minute question. So would the AHA be able to connect us with BJCP judges for future competitions? Is that something that they can do?
Yes. In fact, if the competition is sanctioned by the BJCP, then the coordinator for the competition is sent a list of BJCP judges that are usually in the Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin area.
What does it take to be sanctioned?
Pardon me?
What does it take to be sanctioned?
$25. And you just go to bjcp.org. There's a link there. You have to fill out a couple of things saying how you're going to run your competition. There's some rules that you should follow. And $25, it gets you up on the calendar. You can choose whether to post it on the calendar or not, whether you want other people and other clubs to know about your competition. And then there's a whole list of people that the coordinator is given to contact for judging. But a lot of judges, especially in Michigan, because there aren't a whole lot of competitions, they really watch that competition schedule for sanctioned competitions. And once your competition goes up there on the schedule, people will be contacting you because they want their judging points.
Interesting. Right on. It's good to know. And there's Brian.
Hey.
On the last minute.
Hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Got that
Hi.
smooth
Good to
tone.
meet you, Gail, Amy. Hi. Sorry I'm late. I had some things come up. I was listening to the show, though.
So, Brian, do you have any questions? Because I think we were just about to wrap up, but
Yeah, I figured I would pop on and say hi real quick. I just got home, but no, nothing that I don't think got answered. Did you talk about? I know you guys had talked about and maybe Gail, this is specifically for you because it's more like mead related, like Schramm's. You know his like fruit meads, how they're very strong, very sweet. In a traditional like maybe mead competition, how would you enter that, like as far as categories go? I mean, obviously it's like almost beyond what like a sack mead is, right?
Usually they're entered as, if it's just one kind of honey, it's usually just a traditional sweet. But Ken does so many melomels that would generally what it would be. Some type of melomel, depending upon what kind of fruit goes in there.
Okay.
There's actually, because of Ken, there's kind of a thing, like a Michigan mead or, it's Michigan meads are just known to be really big and bold and kind of sweet.
Oh, interesting.
So Brian, I threw that out there without you. Your inspiration for your meads is that is kind of Ken Schramm and what you're going for, right?
Yeah. Ken Schramm, Dave Anderson, over at Schramm's too. He, not so much anymore, but he used to be on the mead subreddit a lot, talking. Two very, very smart guys. Yeah. So got a lot of information from them and their posts there and stuff like that. So, yeah, cool.
There's also a Michigan Mead Coalition, which is like a homebrew mead club right now. And Bill Belair, he's the kind of the coordinator of it. Annie Zipser's in there, Amy Olson, a lot of the mead mamas from AGB.
I love the mead mamas.
So if you check out the Michigan Mead Coalition, it's a really cool idea to have, Michigan mead makers, homemade mead makers. A lot of fun.
Right on. Yeah, I'm well familiar with Bill and his meads. He does some amazing meads. Yeah.
One other thing maybe that I was thinking of on the drive back home too. I had said a couple of years ago, probably one of my goals, my bucket list goals at some point is probably to sit in a seat like you guys are and try to help the AHA and try to, I don't know, like I just want home brewing to be as good as it can be, and I want to be in a position to try to help that as much as I possibly can. So yeah, we do things like this, and I talk to people online all the time, and we try to bring people like you on all the time, and how and I'm obviously not the only one in the world that feels like this. How would somebody like me go about trying to get like a board position like you two have?
I think there's actually a couple of different ways. You can help out the AHA on a lot of the subcommittees without being a governing committee member. So if you go to the governing committee page on the American Homebrewers Association website, there's a list of subcommittees and there's links there to contact the subcommittee members to volunteer. And then if you want to run by November 30th of every year, you just need to either nominate yourself or have somebody nominate you. And as Amy said earlier, a headshot and a position statement, and you're good to go.
Truly, I really did this as like I don't know, feeling super gutsy and just decide to try. And I got it. And I did put a lot of effort and work into it, but I really believe anyone can get it if you're passionate about homebrewing. Just go for it. Put your name in the hat. Seriously.
I like your hair, by the way. It's awesome.
I think that's really how we wound up being officers in our homebrew club, right? Is just to step up and say, "Yeah, I'm stupid enough to do that for you. Let me help."
Wait, I have a question. Brian, what are you drinking?
Oh, we missed. Yeah.
So I like to try to support local breweries while the shutdowns are happening and stuff like that. So right now I have a write-in ballot from Presidential. And for the life of me, I can't remember off the top of my head what hop they used. So Presidential's write-in ballot series is a series of single hop IPAs where they try to, showcase an individual hop. And it's one that I don't brew with often. It might be Palisade. Does that sound familiar? I don't know if Shane is listening, if she remembers. But or somebody in chat remembers. Brandon's really good about remembering everything, so if he's in the chat right now, I'm sure he'll.
I'm really hoping like Jake or Kaylee from Presidential would be in listening, but I know they're not always. But yeah, Presidential is one of our local breweries here in Kalamazoo. They've been on the show before. Great folks. I see.
Amazing folks. It's newer than Simcoe, right?
Write-in ballot. Yeah.
No, I think there's a new one.
But I did mess up, Brian, without you, and I totally missed the what are you drinking?
I did. So. I heard I was going to comment and shame and everything.
Shame for shame.
I know. Gail, you had mentioned volunteer opportunities. What do those look like? Like stewarding competitions and things like that, or?
That's a great opportunity to get into judging and just see how competitions run. And stewards are usually the lucky ones. They can taste the good beers and eat some ciders without having to do all the writing, and they don't have to taste the bad ones.
How does that work? Like there's just usually, I mean, obviously you have like a bottle or two of beer that is being split between the judges. There's just always some left over. I've never actually stewarded or judged a competition or anything.
There is generally there's a little bit left in the bottle, and stewards can taste them as long as they stay sober and can do the math to check the judges.
Yes.
That's right. Math is easy. So
we were, I think the year before last, I know David and I don't know if Brian was. David and I were going to go over and try to help with Michigan Beer Cup, but it was just I think too last minute, too late, too many other things going on. So, and it's funny in Michigan how the clubs, they're over on your side of the state. It seems like there's a dozen clubs, and over here on the west side, there's only a few. You've got Keepers and Club, Hop to It, and I think the premier homebrew club, Primetime. Yeah, there's not many though. I mean, we're over in the Detroit area. I think you guys have over a dozen, and then so a lot of things seem to happen over there, and not so much over here. So we're trying. I know I got involved in the beer cup this year, and then nothing happened. So really looking forward to next year and getting back to normal post-vaccine. So, Brian, you're muted.
How about now?
Yeah, we got you.
Good. All right.
Smooth.
So I found the name of the hop. It's Paradigm. Which I've never.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
I went to look it up. So it is. You ready for this? It's an aroma hop. We got herbal, peach, pear, dank, tropical, cotton candy, mint, papaya, spice, chamomile, caddy, spicy berry, Jolly Rancher, bubblegum, lily, rich melon.
Are they just describing all hops?
Yeah, pretty
Just-
much.
Yeah.
Tastes like plant matter.
Yeah.
It's going to come out tasting like something.
Yeah.
Amy, I heard you say that you liked brewing pale ales a lot on the drive into. What's your favorite hop?
Wait, did you say me or Gail? We both love pale ales.
Oh, I think. Well, Gail's the Sierra Nevada, right? And I have Celebration in my fridge, and I heard you mention that.
She
earlier.
did.
Oh, I love that beer. Oh, that beer. That's what winter is about for me. But didn't you say that, Amy? You
Yeah,
you
so
mostly
I
do
am
pale ales?
so basic. My favorite hop is Citra, and I know that's basic, but I would love to bring up the Zappa hop, which is new-ish. Well, actually,
used it.
really old. It's a Neo-Mexicanas hop, so it's indigenous to America, and it has been putting off some bomb-ass flavors. We've been using it at Stormcloud a lot, and holy cow, it's very hard to describe. It puts throughout the whole, like during the brew, when you put it in, it smells like burning tire rubber, which does not sound appealing. I know
Yeah.
it's not appealing.
You're starting
But
off great.
then, like the actual product, the final results are phenomenal. And one of my favorite descriptors that our brewers have started using, which is not a very specific descriptor at all, is purple. It just tastes purple. But it's
That's what Mosaic tastes like to me.
Yeah,
I describe it as tasting
totally.
purple.
so I
Don't understand that.
I've been really digging the Zappa hop a lot lately.
Oh, cool. I'll check
But
that
I will
out.
always
I've
be
never
a
used
Citra
it.
girl.
I've seen Zappa a few times. I've been curious. I've had it in my cart, when buying brew supplies, but usually I'll overfill my cart and then I'll have to like pare things down and be like, it's a little much. Can't.
I'm
So-
all too familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had Zappa in the cart a few times. It just hasn't made the cut, but next
No,
time it's
good
in there, I
work,
think I'm
truly.
gonna do it.
Awesome.
Well, cool. Yeah, sorry to butt in at the end of the stream and bombard everyone with questions, but that's
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm glad to have you here. So, Gail, Amy, anything else you want to add before we wrap up? No?
Not off the top of my head.
Thanks so
It's really
much for
been-
having us.
Yeah,
it was really
It-
good
it-
meeting too.
truly.
It
Thank
has
you.
been great hanging out. So again, we'll put some information in the post links after for everybody else, and then hopefully we'll be able to spawn a couple other episodes off of this in the future. That said, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will be back next week with Homebrew Review. I know that we've got a couple to try. And if you're listening and you want us to drink your homebrew on air like we did last month, ping us on Facebook and we'll figure it out. In this COVID situation, one of us will make arrangements to pick it up. So that said, thanks everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good night. Cheers.